教えてくれた。邪悪な企みの駒にされていたようだが、かけるしかなかった。俺は他の魔物を食い荒らした。俺は負けるわけにはいかない。
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Mr. Fox, back in the house, and I gotta say, this episode of Slime was dope. So, I know my videos are usually like long-winded because I ramble a lot, but I feel I just like to talk until I get nothing to say. So this one is deliberately gonna be probably longer than normal, or maybe it might be the same amount of length, but it's just a lot of stuff that I personally want to talk about this episode and all that. So getting straight into it, so the episode kicks off, actually the episode kicks off with like a recap. I thought it was like a whole recap and I was going to be like really upset. I was like, if they made us wait 2 weeks or a week, however long it was before we got this episode, just so we can see a recap of what's going on, I'm going to be thoroughly upset. Recaps and shows should be banned, in my opinion. If you want to find out what's going on, you either watch each episode and skim through it and get some bullet points, or go online. But I don't waste my time with a recap if you know full well that I've been watching what's going on. But that's me personally. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments and all that. But jumping straight into it. So after the intro, we cut to Rimuru in the sky. He stated, "Orc Lord, I'm here. I'm gonna take you out. It's my job." And we see like a flash go right by him. I didn't know what it was first, but it turns out it's Gelmud. I didn't think he was gonna show up on the battlefield. He shows up on the battlefield. He's upset. He's like, he's pretty much, he's talking to everyone that's opposing him. He's like, "What are y'all doing?" He's like, "Who are you people?" He's like, "Why don't you just die and become food for the Orc Lord?" He's like, "You're ruining my plans here. If they get ruined, I'm gonna get killed." And he keeps saying he, and we're like, and Rimuru says, he's like, "Who's he?" And Garbaru is on the field. He's like, "Oh, Lord Gelmud," because that's the person that named him. He's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Look, you're useless. Just die and become food." And this is the one moment where I felt bad for Garbaru, because he was like, "What? Huh? Wait, what?" And then Gelmud tries to kill him. Rimuru steps in and absorbs the, his attack and all that. And he's like, and he states he's grown to like Garbaru. I don't honestly see how. I felt bad for him in the moment, because the dude that named you, at this point Gelmud had pretty much admitted that I gave all these people names just so I could have something like this. Like he was trying to breed a brand new demon lord so he could advise them and pretty much rule from the shadows. Like the demon lord would pretty much be under his thumb, constantly doing whatever he says, because he'd be like a personal advisor. Like, "I think you should kill this village because they disrespected me and they wouldn't let me take a tab out on my bill," some BS like that. But and after hearing all that, Garbaru's flushed to the point where he can't even form a coherent syllable, let alone a sentence. All that. But I felt bad for him at that point, but only for like a millisecond. After that, I was like, get him off my screen. I don't like him. Hopefully he becomes more likable as I read the light novels. I just started 2. I only got up to 3 for Christmas, so but I'll enjoy it, and I'll buy the others later on. So after that, that's when Rimuru states to Gelmud, he's like, he's like, "I don't see how you can kill anybody with power like that. Look who's talking. Not only are you the MC, but I mean you're just grossly, at this point in time, compared to the people in front of you that you're fighting, you're just grossly overpowered against these people." Gelmud's trying his hardest to kill these people. He's like, block, 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 and and all that. Actually, and then after, the crazy thing is, after all that goes down and Gelmud is talking to the Orc Lord, well, Geld, that's his name, Geld. He's like, "Hey man, why don't you step in and murk these people for me?" And and Geld at this point, he doesn't have his mind. It's obvious. He's pretty much just a walking imbecile at this point. But he's still able to talk, which was kind of surprising. Well, no, not surprising. We saw it last episode, but yeah, still. Kind of surprising he's able to form such coherent sentences to me. But he's like, what do you, he asked Gelmud, he's like, what do you mean evolve into a orc lord? And Gelmud states, he's like, look man, if you eat all these people, you will evolve and become a demon lord, which will be the demon lord orc disaster. That's what he and I wanted. Once again, that's where he states he and I. I'm like, we're like, who is he? I'm assuming it's Lord Leon Cromwell, the one that, you know, summoned Shizue, but, you know, that's not really expressly confirmed. And I haven't gone back to do the research either, but, you know, whatever. So, after that, Gale looks at him, and he's like, and I guess he starts thinking, and then Gelmud is like, haha, he's about to take all of you out. The next thing you know, yay! Gale slices his head off, and I wasn't expected, and I always forget sometimes that the show can get really dark sometimes. Like he lopped his head smooth off, it hit the ground and everything, and then he ate him, and then he evolved into the orc disaster like he wanted to, but except he's dead. And now that he's become the orc disaster, he's actually able to think properly again. He's like, you know, he doesn't expressly say this, but now he's actually fully conscious of all the stuff that he's been doing. And like I said, this is gonna be longer, so I want to get into that. So I'm going to jump around a little bit. So after, you know, Geld becomes the orc disaster, and he's actually able to think, you know, talk properly and all that, we find out that the reason he was in the desert wandering is because his village is, you know, he lives in the desert. It's a drought. There's nothing to eat, and he has a village, and he's also the king of this village. You know, and you know, so he was talking to one of his I guess one of his advisors and all that. He's like, look man, I'm tired of seeing, he said, there was a child born yesterday, it's not alive anymore, and there's another one that's only been alive for a few days but is about to die because of starvation. And you know, he does what he can for like everyone there. He like, I mean, like the man literally gave his arm to some starving kids, and surprisingly, you know, it grew back. I didn't know his regenerative abilities were that keen on. You know, and this is before he even met Gelmud and all that. So that's why he left. He's like, I'm gonna go to the Great Forest of Jura. That was his destination to begin with. We find that out. He said, I'm gonna go to the Great Forest of Jura, and I'm gonna try to find something for my people. We need, you know. And you know, that's when his advisor was like, you know that their place is under the protection of Veldora. Now they don't know because they live so far away, but you know, at this point Veldora's gone. Rimru's already absorbed him, but you know, he's like, man, it's been so long. He's like, he's got to be gone by now. He said, but even then, he's like, it doesn't matter. I have to do something, you know. And I felt for him. I was like, you know, and you know, that's what a king to me is supposed to be. You know, it's not just, oh, I'm of a pure blood, whatever you can consider, you know, pure blood or whatever. It's a king to me is someone that captures the people's hearts, and not only does that, but actually cares for his subjects. Geld, well, his name wasn't Geld at the time. Before he was named, I'm going to call him Geld, it's easier. Geld cared so much about his people that he was willing to trust Gelmud, you know, for the sake, he's like, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make sure that my people do not starve to death. As their king, it is my responsibility and my responsibility alone. So obviously he didn't make it to the Great Forest of Jura. He was on the verge of dying. That's when he meets Gelmud, you know, and that's how we end up in the situation that we are now. Now, like I said, actually this is pretty much straightforward. So like after he kills Gelmud, the rest of the episode is pretty much him and Rimuru fighting. Now speaking on them fighting, Rimuru goes into autopilot. It's funny because it reminds me of a game that I'm playing on my cell phone that, you know, that keeps me busy at work. It's called Grand Chasing. I don't know if any of you have heard of it. It's a JRPG game, and on there, you know, you can put your squad in autopilot mode, so you don't have to do it, but you can take back control, you know, whenever you want to, or designate them to use certain skills at certain points in time. Rimuru pretty much does the same thing with Great Sage. He tells Great Sage to activate, and it's dope because his eyes go red to let you know that Great Sage is now in control of his body. But while this is going on, he's thinking. Rimuru's not, it's not like he's unconscious or anything. He's pretty much just like watching, sitting there watching like I do on my phone when I put the game on autopilot. I'm just watching, making sure that y'all can handle it. And for the most part, Great Sage holds his own. It's not being pushed back or anything. It's just not effective, like pretty much. It's like Gelmud is on. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess at this point, since he's the Demon Lord Orc Disaster, he's kind of on the same level as Rimuru, because most of his techniques weren't working. And then we find out that Geld has fire resistance, just like heat, like Rimuru does, because he uses the fire circle that he gained from Ifrit. At first it seems like he burnt him to crispy bacon, but then you find out he's like, oh, I got fire resistance. Like, oh. So at that point, Rimuru tells Great Sage, he's like, hey, look, you did a good job. Thank you. I was able to figure out a strategy that will work against him and all that. So Rimuru decides, he's going to use his, I'm not going to say best skill, but I guess his most unique skill, the one that got him all his powers. He's going to use Predator on Geld. And Geld tries to use his skill on Rimuru. So it was pretty much at the end of the day, it was Predator versus Starved. Which skill is stronger? Obviously, Rimuru prevailed. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a story at this point. But I don't want to chalk it up like that. But Predator proved stronger, but it was still a struggle. Now, I haven't gotten to that point yet in Volume 2, but I have heard that they go more into detail about that in particular struggle, and I can't wait to see it and all that. Oh, it ripped. I'm sad. Anywho, so I can't wait. And actually, I'm gonna make a whole video on the differences that I've caught with the light novels and the anime. I'm actually kind of grateful that I watched the anime first, because while I'm reading, I'm actually able to picture all their faces, stuff that's going on. And I really enjoy the real in-depth detail that was left out of the anime. It's really it's really nice, and it brings some perspective to me and all that. So I can't wait to finish 2 and get on to 3, because that's when I know I'll be completely past the anime. But with that being said, Rimuru says something the whole time he's trying to devour Geld. They're talking. I guess it's like an internal monologue between the two or whatever. But Geld said this is how we find out how he was a king, because while they're talking to each other, we see a flashback of Geld in the village and all that. And that's when we find out his backstory. And honestly, bravo, we didn't know him very long, but they built him up good enough to where I actually cared and felt for him. I really do feel for him. I don't understand what it's like to be a king, but I can kind of sympathize with it, and all that, being in like that type of a leadership role and how important it is, because I lead people in my job sometimes, and it's up to me to make sure the job gets done well and make sure my boys get home safely to whoever they go home to and all that. And Geld states, he's like, look, I don't care that I sinned. He's like, I know I've sinned and all that. And what he's talking about, he's talking about all the different stuff that he's done, like all the people he devoured, because he even brings up, he's like, I devoured my own people. I devoured the lizard men, and I devoured anything else. He said, but as long as my people can prosper, I don't care. He said, I will shoulder all of their burdens, and I will shoulder all of the world's hunger if it means they can live happy lives. And I'm like, dude, it almost brought a tear to my eye. And Rimuru is at the point is telling him, he's like, look, he's like, it's okay, man, it's okay, let go. He said, I quote, I wrote it down. He says, I'll devour all of your sins. I will devour all of your sins and you, and I will devour all of the sins of your brethren. Because Geld's whole thing, he's like, I don't care if I die. I mean, if I die and they live prosperous, whatever, so be it. I achieved my goal. But he was like, I can't die until I know that my people are safe and they will be taken care of. And that's when, remember, like I said, he says, I'll take all the burdens of you and your brethren. And that's when Geld is like, huh. He's like, the one that devours all. He's like, you're so greedy. Remember, was like, yeah, I am greedy. And then this scene right here, it almost got me. After he says that, we see Geld in the middle of the forest pretty much, and he gets to see like how his people will fare after he's gone. I don't know if it's like future vision or whatever, but I think it's pretty much like how when Rimuru absorbed Shizue, he gave her like happy dreams for the rest of her life. I think he did the same thing with Geld. Geld told things, I want to see my people prosper, and Rimuru showed him that, and he just breaks down in tears, and he's like thank you. He's like my hunger has now been satiated. I can go in peace. And the whole time this is going on, he's being devoured by a predator. Like, it's breaking him down, like layer by layer. His skin, it shows his skin disappearing. Then we see his muscle fibers; those are gone. Then it gets down to the bone, and the next thing you know, it's he's completely devoured. Now, and that's pretty much how the episode ends. Is after Rimuru devours Geld. Now, let's talk about that. One, he just got like a serious power boost, and I can't wait to either see. I don't know what's gonna come first. Whether I get to it in the light novel first, or I get to it in the anime first. But I want to see exactly what new skills he acquired, and I want to see. And I really hope they bring up that. I want to see how Starved and Predator are going to interact with each other. I hope they combine into a whole new skill, or just or I'm thinking it just might beef Predator up, like make it skip like a few levels or something in its evolution and all that. But so yeah, Rimuru got a major power up. Not only did he absorb Geld was already powerful on his own after he got named and becoming Orc Lord and all that, but he also got some of the powers of Geld Mud, the one that was naming. We never got to see his face. He kept the Plague Doctor mask on the whole time. I would have liked to see his face. I hope they kind of describe it in the light novel, but I might be asking too much. But then again, I guess who cares? But it's going to be interesting to see what new skills he receives, and what new skills that the rest of his party receives. Because I found out, thank you to my fans in the comments letting me know that they all get part of his skills. If not all, well, not all of them, but they get a lot of stuff from his skill tree as well, which is dope and all that. But and that's pretty much how the episode ends. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to get to it in the light novel, and I can't wait to just finish like all the ones I have. I'm gonna buy the whole set, and then later on I'm gonna go back and buy the manga. I'm actually glad I got the light novel first instead of the manga, so that way it'll give me even more stuff to see, what the differences are. But for the most part, I'm proud of the anime, and it's pretty sticking really close to the source material, and I applaud them on that. Ain't really too much missing. They arranged, like, towards the beginning, I think they arranged some stuff around a little differently, but nothing that's, nothing's gonna make you like, oh my goodness, why they do it like this? It's fine, whatever. So, Geld ends up being, devoured. Rimuru he's gonna get some new skills. And actually, if you watch all the way to the end preview, it said the Great Forest of Jura Alliance. So it's probably taking a wild guess here. The alliance is going to consist of the goblins, the ogres, the orcs, and the lizardmen, and probably the well, no, I don't think the dryers will. They'll probably come in, but I don't know how many there are, I haven't until I get to them in the store in the book. If I ever do, I don't think they really care. It's like, as long as you're not trying to burn down the forest, do what you want, But if you try to mess with the forest, then we'll pass divine judgment on you, kick you out, or do what we gotta do to make sure you get out of there. But I don't know how long this video is until I get to editing it. So I hope you enjoyed it. let me know your thoughts on the comments below. Also, if I don't mind spoilers in the comments about the light novel, because I kind of forget. Because my brain is thinking about 10,000 things all at once. So I'll read it. Because I try to reply to all your comments and all that. Because I'm not that big. So anyone that takes the time to do that, has my deepest thanks. But don't give me too many spoilers. I don't mind. Actually, the comments that y'all been leaving on these videos, they're really helpful. I don't mind being corrected. If actually I really like, not that I do it on purpose, but if there's something that I missed or something I got wrong, please tell me, because sometimes I'll forget to even go check myself, and then I see what y'all put in the comments. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thank you. That's good clarification for me, so I don't get some stuff wrong. But with all that being said, do the stuff that I'm gonna tell you to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications when I drop more videos, or I'm gonna cut you up. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs this year. 2019, 1,000 subs, like 1,000 subs. That's what we're doing. I'll put the sheath in. See, messing me up. So like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back for the next episode of Slime. With that being said, it's your boy Fox.